Welcome to version 1 of easily one of my favorite series to do on Madden, which is, of course, the This Is How to Draft a Perfect Fantasy Draft Team on Madden franchise video. Of course, one of the disclaimers I have to say is perfect for me is potentially going to be different than perfect for you. Some people might define perfect as the most overpowered team, which of course would probably feature taking Mahomes #1 overall. But for me, perfect is having players to develop and have fun with. So it's probably going to be a little different from you and me. But one thing's for sure is the team is definitely going to have a very good outlook, no matter what your definition is, which of course at pick 12 is going to start us off with a pass rusher. Some of the other options we could go with here are cornerback or wide receiver, but for me personally, I think in the first, maybe even second round, you want to have either a pass rusher, corner, and wide receiver, or just two of those three, as those are some of the hardest positions to get down the line. But at the same time, when I talk about those, I wouldn't want to grab two really good wide receivers. Like, personally, I wouldn't want to grab, like, Justin Jefferson, and then next round grab, I'm not even sure who's there next round, like, if DJ Moore is there. I wouldn't want two really good wide receivers, but one of them would be fine, like a Justin Jefferson. But personally, I think one of the positions that I don't really mind and I don't really want to develop personally too much is edge rusher. And having a really good guy that can get to the quarterback, even if he gets double teamed, is going to be great. Micah Parsons is one of the best pass rushers in the league, and for Madden, because of how young he is, he's obviously one of the best pass rushers in that regard as well. So without a doubt, in the first round, I'm going to be going with Micah Parsons. If not here, if you're at pick 12, which is kind of what I was aiming for, I would probably go either Micah Parsons or Justin Jefferson. If Sauce Gardner's there, maybe a decent choice as well. Myles Garrett actually went a little earlier here than I'm used to, but for me, Sauce Gardner's usually at pick 10 or 11, and then for Micah, he's all the way from 10 to 14, usually 12 to 13, though. That's his usual kind of sweet spot, which is why I aimed for 12. But those are the two kind of players, the three players I would go for: Justin Jefferson, Sauce Gardner, or Micah Parsons with this slot. But I think pick 12 is usually where I kind of want to be for this fantasy draft kind of realm. And unfortunately for this one, I'm catching a little bit of unlucky breaks. At this spot is where I would like to have seen Dexter Lawrence or Stingley still be there, and unfortunately, neither of them are, although I think Jalen Johnson might have been here a little bit later than I expected. Actually, not later. He actually, in most of mine, goes around 21 to 22, which is exactly where we're at. It's a pretty damn good chance I do go Jalen Johnson, but I will want to look a little bit further ahead just to see if there's any other options. Also, we could still have him in the next round, but if you wanted to go with like a really solid quarterback but missed out of the top 10 guys, Caleb Williams is pick 10-ish in the third round. He's an X factor, so I would consider him almost in that Mahomes category where I don't know how much fun I can have developing a guy that really, because he's X Factor, won't take long to develop on his own. The round we're going to be likely going for a quarterback in this one is going to be round 6 or 7, where you have the other quarterbacks like Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, those types of players. So that's kind of where we're at for quarterback. And because I'm going to be going cornerback in round 4, I'm actually going to reach a little bit on Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams I usually have going around 14 in the next round, but I think the route I'm going to go is Quinnen Williams here, then Marvin Harrison Jr., and then a corner in round 4. I think that'll work out pretty well, and I don't really want to risk Quinnen because I feel like after Quinnen, you do drop down significantly. So Quinnen Williams, I think, is going to be our second pick, which will be another defender, of course, but don't worry, we'll start to get to that offensive side of the ball sooner or later. But if you did want to play a little more risky, like, hey, I believe he's going to be there at 14, you could have easily went Jalen Johnson there. And I think that really would have been my best choice. Maybe Terry McLaurin or something like that, J.C. Horn, but I can get a corner in round 4, I think. It'll be fine. Jalen Carter, he's also a lot higher this year than normal, and that's because I think they recently changed him to a right end, so they're viewing him as an edge rusher in-game, and he actually goes in the 3rd round. So if you want Jalen Carter this year, you have to go a lot higher than normal. And you could also have, instead of Marvin Harrison Jr., went Olave. I usually do go Olave quite a bit, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. being an X factor versus star Dev Olave, and it feels like dev ups are a bit harder to get this year in season. I think I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison, but really the selection in this position, in my opinion, is just wide receiver. So really just choose who you want. You know, Pittman, Olave, Zay Flowers is a decent option, Pickens. You do have options here at wide receiver, but once again, I think I'm going to go for pure dev, which is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr., who I believe is X Factor, unless they decided to change him last second. That's going to be wide receiver 1, who, because he's an X Factor, will be a lot higher than 79 overall by year 1, even if he's terrible. And thankfully, I did not get screwed over. Obviously, normal dev now for Tariq Woolen sucks. 25 years old. He's getting up there in the age already, but normal dev, 97 speed, 6'4" corner. You can never go wrong with 97 speed, especially with that height. So Tariq Woolen's going to be my choice. Before we actually make that selection, though, guys like Nick Chubb would go this round, Hassan Reddick, Jordan Addison. Actually, is Tyson Campbell there? Because he could be a decent shout as well. I know he's a little bit on the lower side. He is still there, but he is star dev. He's a year younger, so you could make that choice if you wanted, but personally, that's not what I would do. Say, look at Nick Chubb. Is he still there? He is actually gone, surprisingly or not. But you also do have Pacheco, Kenneth Walker that would go this round. But for us personally, obviously, I'm going to go with Tariq Woolen. You know, you could have argued going a little bit higher for cornerback, but 86 overall CB1 with, you know, a bunch of youngsters at number 2 and 3 is perfectly fine. And this is a really tough decision for me because you have linemen, and there's some really good linemen here. You have Andrew Thomas, who's a 25-year-old with really good ratings. You have Tyler Smith, who's a 23-year-old with really good ratings. Then you also have Quentin Nelson, who's all the way up at 28 years old, but he's superstar. So if you really want those abilities, that's going to be your best bet, is going with him. I'm trying to look around to see if there's any other like superstars, but I don't think there's going to be. Trey Smith's also a really good option. He's 25 years old, really good player. I don't usually like going O-line this high, but personally, I think it's the best available unless you're going to go linebacker like Nick Bolton, who is good. In a rebuild sense, he's really good. But I think I'm actually, believe it or not, going to go with the 23-year-old Tyler Smith. If you're going to do a long-term franchise, he's literally going to be here for like 12 seasons. And I mean, he's perfect. 97 strength. He's fast. He's got like all the good ratings. He's really good. Tyler Smith is going to be my choice. And now, because I have a cornerback late in the next round, and we can't take 2 players in one round, obviously, I'm actually likely going to be taking quarterback about 20 spots earlier than it needs to be. But when you're talking about the quarterback position, it's not a position that, you know, it hurts too much to overdraft, if you will. It'd be really tough to pass on Anthony Richardson, in my opinion. I don't actually know each of their traits, so if you're really in-depth with this before you even start doing this, you could easily look at what each of their traits are when it comes to their sense of pressure. That's a really important one. Drake May is obviously there. You also have Jaden Daniels. I think a lot of people would probably choose him because he's got all that speed. Anthony Richardson's pretty hard to pass on. I think I'm going to go with, honestly, the in-between. Because obviously you want to, in my opinion, go with one of these guys because they're rookies. You get that Rookie of the Year win, you automatically dev up. Anthony Richardson would probably be my second choice behind May, but because May is a little bit of both worlds, he's got a little bit of speed, he's pretty accurate, I'm going to go with Drake May. I'm going to go with Drake May here. It's really up to you what quarterback you actually want to use. Personally, if I was going to use one guy, it would definitely be Anthony Richardson, but in this rebuild sense where I'm going to be simming after this, that's going to be my selection. And I'm hoping the guy that I'm looking at is going to be there, and he is. Terrion Arnold, who you don't actually need if you don't want to, is superstar dev in the game and goes late in the 7th round. I'm likely going to be taking him, but I always like to do my due diligence, so I'm going to look at my list here real quick just to look ahead a little bit and make sure that this is the choice I'm making. And I think it is going to be. Corner is a position that, there are a lot of them, but as far as getting pure DevOps, it is kind of tough to get. So getting a guy like Woolen with normal, how far is his ceiling going to be? I'm not sure, but Terrion Arnold is a superstar in game, so I'm going to go with Terrion Arnold, who definitely will develop very, very quickly. And I almost feel like I'm cheating here if I take Kyle Pitts, because on my list, I actually have Kyle Pitts going a little earlier than this, around 17 or 18. So him being here at 21 is not something I would have expected. However, you can get Brock Bowers late in the 10th round. And then the question is, do I go for a running back now, like Bijan Robinson, who I believe is still superstar? He is superstar running back. Once again, devs are a little bit harder to get this year than normal. He's an early round, next round, like 8 or 9. So, you know what? I'm going to go Bijan. You have plenty of other options later, especially if you like to develop a running back from the ground up. I got like Jalen Wright ends up going, let me look, all the way in round 21. But if you're trying to get a guy for a rebuild sense, which I'm going to be simming this one afterwards, then yeah, Bijan Robinson's a great choice because, you know, he's a high dev young running back that'll actually get to that threshold you need to hit to be able to do anything in sim. Also, if you missed on quarterback, you actually can still, I believe, get J.J. McCarthy late 9th into early 10th. Where is he? And you can see here he is, J.J. McCarthy. Bo Nix also goes this round, so QB is plenty throughout the draft. And you know what? Even though I think Bowers will be there next round, I'm gonna if someone like Kyle Pitts falls to you, take him. I mean, why should I punish myself because I was expecting to go slightly earlier than this? I also expected in the second round for Dexter Lawrence to still be there, and he wasn't. So, I mean, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and when you have a chance to win, why not take it? And then, of course, you know, if we were going to play the route of we don't expect Pitts to be there ever, Brock Bowers is still there. I expect him to go 2 picks from now, and, I mean, he's really another Kyle Pitts, just obviously not as goated because he's 3 inches shorter, but still really good. That's who I would take if you didn't go Pitts there. Definitely a great pick. And now another player that if you're really wanting, speed, Xavier Worthy is here. He's obviously really fast. Personally, though, I think I'm going to end up going with someone like Adonai Mitchell. Some like lesser, I wouldn't say known, but lesser guaranteed to be good players. You get a 98 speed wide receiver, and you're going to easily be able to put up numbers with them. So, you could definitely go that route this round. If not, you still have other options like, Baker, Tez Walker, Polk, Roman Wilson, Troy Franklin, Adonai Mitchell, Purcell, Keon Coleman, Ladd McConkey, I guess Treylon Burks. You got a lot of high dev guys still. Like I said, I'd probably end up going Adonai Mitchell, but you could always go Worthy if you wanted to get that speed. Also, if you wanted to go safety, this is a really good time to do it as Andre Sisco's there. I thought Delpit was going to be here still, but he isn't, but the speedy Sisco at 24 years old is great. Personally, though, I really like some of the later safeties. I think the guys we're going to be trying to aim for, assuming we don't sell, are going to be, wherever he is, Javon Bullard, who has really high hit power, good speed, rookie, and then I think Jaden Hicks. Both those guys, high hit power, decent speed youngsters. Safety, I think you don't really need as good of a safety. You just develop them slowly over time. As long as they're fast and can hit hard, they're going to be a lot of fun and good. And now is where I start to clean up shop a little bit on the offensive line. I'm going to go J.C. Latham. I don't know why I said it like that. Then I'm probably going to end up going Amarius Mims after that. And then I'm probably going to end up going with a linebacker. But, it started to sound like I was just going to go crazy. You don't need to go line, but personally, I like to be well protected. And if you're well protected, it's a lot easier to play offense. And Amarius Mims, Latham, all these youngsters, they're just so good in this draft class. From this latest draft class. So Amarius Mims right afterwards, and then likely going to go with a linebacker here just to have somebody with a little bit of development. And this was actually going to be the round that I went with Edge, because Latu and Kwity Paye should have had an option at either of them here, but they're both gone. I'm not really sure why they're gone. With that being said, I'm going to start reaching a little bit on other positions of need then, just making sure we do need a DT. Not really the type of DT that fits in a 4-3, which is where we're going to run, but Jordan Davis, I think, because of how athletic he is, you can play him at 2 different positions. So even though he's not superstar anymore, I think he's still a good player to grab. That too we're going to take. And because EA is kind of scaring me a little bit with some of these players going earlier than I thought, I'm going to be reaching a little bit to grab this year's sort of version of Trenton Simpson and Edgerrin Cooper. Starting to fill out those linebackers a little bit. And then we're going to really go back-to-back Packers here with Javon Bullard, who is going to be our starting strong safety. And then because your edge options, I really wanted Latu, was it round 11, round 12? Because your edge options are pretty limited, I would maybe even reach here a little bit. I wouldn't even say reach, but it feels like a reach because you're not getting that good of a player. I would take Lucas Van Ness this round or Felix Anudike Uzomah next round. Just because they have a little bit of speed. I think Miles Murphy he's actually only 22 as well. He's more raw than the likes of Lucas Van Ness. I do like Lucas Van Ness quite a bit. I don't want this to become like the proper Packers rebuild though, so The block shed's there, but yeah, if I can wait for Myles Murphy, I probably will. And because I have some other players coming up in the future, I'm going to go with Peyton Wilson now. I get it, he's 24, but he's 6'4", with like 80-something change of direction, all the hit power in the world, good speed, zone coverage isn't bad, jumping solid, catching solid. I mean, he can even pass rush. I'm taking Peyton Wilson. He's too good not to. He's just too good not to. And even though we can go a little bit later for corner if we wanted to, I want a fast one at number 3. I don't know how you throw against these trio of corners, especially when you have Arnold, who's going to develop really quickly to match Woolen, and then you have speed at the slot. You're not going to be able to throw past that slot corner at all. And then here, it might be considered a reach, but assuming he's still there, it'd be a sell if he wasn't. I'm going to be grabbing Myles Murphy. He goes early next round, which, of course, we're not going to have a pick early next round. Early as in the first couple of picks. So Myles Murphy is going to be the opposite edge to Micah Parsons. All that athleticism and size against that is just going to be really strong. And we're going to be reaching again for Adonai Mitchell because the middle of next round is when he's going to go. Of course, 6'2", 21 years old, 94 speed, 95 excel. The only players so far that we've gotten that you're probably not guaranteed to get, when you're selecting at 12, if you're selecting there, is probably Pitts. But you could always just, like I said, replace that with Bowers the next round, or even reach and take Bowers then, because he's worth it even a round earlier. He's just, both those guys are really athletic and good. And I'm probably going to take Trevin Wallace this round, but if you haven't taken running back yet, I think he should still be there. Of course, Jalen Wright always last second if he is not, but there he is. Trey Benson goes later this round, so be on the lookout for Trey Benson. He's another great choice, but we obviously went for the Dev in this one with Bijan. But yeah, the player we're going to be going with this round is Trevin Wallace, which, does that finish on linebackers? I can't remember if we might be missing one. Because I was going to try to go Jamin Davis earlier, and we didn't. Are we missing still one more linebacker? We are not. We got Peyton Wilson. That's right. I remember now. So our linebackers are set, and it's only round 20. Now, in round 20 and beyond, really round 21 and 22, if you're missing some players like wide receiver, you still have a really good option. Well, you got a lot of really good options, but the main really good option, if he's still there, where the hell is he? I guess he's gone. Troy Franklin's not here anymore, but obviously, forget Troy Franklin. You still have Roman Wilson. You have Tez Walker, who's obviously got some speed with that height. And then who else do you have? Obviously, so all these guys up until, I think, is it Noah Brown might also be star. I think it's after Noah Brown are all hidden devs, so you can obviously have all those players if you wanted them. Anyone above, I imagine Hodge is going to be star dev, so any of those options are available. Roman Wilson, Jalen Polk, he's a little bit on the slower side though. Tez Walker, Javon Baker. We could use another guy, but we're not like gagging for it. We're not dying for another player. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. And of course, if you still need running back, Jalen Wright next round is, it's a great choice. He's even got a little bit of trucking with that speed. But I'm going for the overalls because this is a rebuild setting, so I'm going to go Trey Benson here just as a, random backup. You don't need him. You could also go Theo Johnson if you didn't go tight end. You have options there. Drew Sanders if you didn't get all three of your linebackers. And crazy enough, if you really are struggling, you let quarterback go this late, you actually still have a couple of options at quarterback. Jordan Travis, obviously. Michael Penix is still there. I think Levis is still there. So many options for this rebuild. For this realm, I don't need a backup quarterback, but Penix is obviously a cream of the crop option at round 21. That's a great selection to have if you still need a quarterback for some reason. And at this point, I start just grabbing players that I think I need a lot, Patrick Paul's another one of those guys. He goes around 23 usually, but we've seen players jump up and down the board. If I feel like I've already got a pretty good roster and I'm just trying to fill out the remaining players, the positions I need, I'm going to do that. If we look at this squad, we have our quarterback, we have our running backs, we have 2 wide receivers, we can get more, obviously. And then you, of course, have, a bunch of linemen now. D-line set, of course. Linebackers are set. Corners are set. We need one more safety, but we're going to get Hicks. Just at this point, don't even really look, if you're looking at my little really jumbled up notepad that I have, just grab players you're really liking. Even if it's a round or two earlier, I might even take Jaden Hicks because he's probably last line of defense for safety. Tyke Smith, actually, he got some options still, but if that's who I felt was last line of defense, which I think he is the last line of the best for youthful players, I might just take them right now. I have Tez Walker at 24, but with the size and speed, I don't want to lose him, so I'm going to grab him now instead. Of course, wide receiver room is a little bit lower than maybe some of our other ones, but obviously with a Marvin Harrison Jr., you could easily replace him with Olave, who's, what, 6 or 7 overalls higher. But yeah, as an X factor, I'm going to take the X factor every time, personally. And of course, like I said, you know, I'm only missing one more lineman. Graham Barton goes like a round or two from now, but since I'm literally missing one lineman, I'm going to take Graham Barton and finish off my offensive line. The only real problem with my O-line is I think I might be a little too tall. We'll see if I can move anyone around. I think all of our tackles. I think Latham I could put at guard, though. So I probably put Patrick Paul at right tackle, Latham at left guard, Tyler Smith at right guard. Well, you know, it doesn't really matter what the specific lineup is. I want Mims at left tackle, though. That's all I know. All I know is we can easily fill up a whole lineup with this, and that's all that matters. And there are other options at safety, like, you know, maybe you think Tyke Smith is better. He's 23, so I don't know if you would. Cole Bishop maybe you think is better, but the problem with him is he's lacking a little bit in the hip power, but obviously still really good, super athletic. I mean, we could probably even take both. Why not just take both? Let's go Cole Bishop this round, and then Jaden Hicks next round, and, you know, you got yourself some safeties. But yeah, the draft this year, because of you know, the rookie class being as good as it is, you definitely can get away with you know, just a bunch more rounds of good players. Jaden Hicks, because of that hit power, probably would be my projected starter, but you never know. Maybe I want Bishop instead. And then you just start filling up with, you know, a bunch of sleepers. Like Darius Robinson's a great sleeper DT pick, so he'll be the DT3. Maybe you put him at DT2. You're like, Jordan Davis as a nose tackle isn't the best option, but you know, you got options, obviously, with, you know, grabbing these backups. Want to go for a random backup pass rusher? Derek Hall's a decent choice. Need another hidden dev lineman? Why not go Zach Frazier? All of the rookies from the latest class, O-line-wise, are just goated. I mean, look at how good he is for a 73 overall. Grab another one. You got 6 linemen now. Don't even need more, but you could take more. I think Tippmann's still there. I think Rosengarten's still there. I mean, you've got so many other hidden dev linemen. So, you know, we even took O-line early, but still filled up some of the other positions later on in the draft. So, I mean, we were fine on O-line. I really wish Tyler Smith was superstar, but then again, he'd probably go like freaking second round by then if he was. And of course, I absolutely sold on my boy Luke Musgrave. I'm not even sure where he is, but obviously you go pure speed. You got Culp from the Buccaneers. He's 24 years old, but, you know, you do have him if you wanted. But personally, I don't even use my backup tight end much anyways, but if you did, at this point, is there any other options? Who do we got? Darnell Washington might even be the guy we end up going with. N'Keal Harry at tight end is interested. Who else do we have? Bellinger is always a great choice. For some reason, breaks every single tackle. Who do we have? Anyone else? Okwebunam. I suppose because we kind of sold a little bit, we'll end up going with the tight end Darnell Washington, fun little backup number, 6'7", tall as hell, you know, why not? Oh no, I think I sold on the speedy running back. No, he's still there. Garendo, the speedy guy, 24 years old. Return specialist, do whatever you want with him. I mean, just take athleticism at this point. Hell, even Cooper Beebe is still here, man. I'm telling you, these O-line, too, with their ratings are insane. Why not grab them? Pure depth. I think Nick Cross would have just went, but we already have all the freaking safeties we need. We have 3 of them. Let's take a look if there's any other good ones in here. See if Cross is there. Based on age, you should find him pretty easily. Still young as hell. Not going to be there. Quarterback, if you didn't go backup quarterback, I think you should still be able to get Joe Milton. And there he is. Joe Milton with 97 throw power. Why the hell not? And at this point, I don't think we're missing any position, but we'll make sure. Got our QBs, got our running backs. We could use more wide receivers. We'll be able to find some speedy ones in a sec. We have 7 linemen. We could use backup pass rusher for sure. We'll go in there. We got Derek Hall in fairness, but we'll go in there. Backup linebacker wouldn't hurt. Kickers in general, kicker punter, they don't get drafted, so take them whenever you want. I think Tucker might still go semi-early, but every other position, every other kicker should be fine. Don't really need safety. What about cornerback? Should be able to find some speed. The question is, who do you want? You have Jacorian Bennett. Is he 23? He's 24 now. Jacorian Bennett with all that speed. I think I'd probably rather have Richardson because he's a year younger. Could go Pritchard. Let's just go by age. Go by age and find the fastest guy. My voice is like going. I need more water. But if you go by age, Abrams Drain is probably one of your better options, so grab him. I mean, it's really easy. This is probably the easiest part of the draft is when you're just going pure speed. You'll find them very easily. Oh, I forgot about the big fella. I almost sold. I know he's 23, but 6'7" Johnny Wilson. What are we doing here? I'm going to do everything I can to use him at some point this Madden. I don't know how I'll do it or who's going to get him, but he needs to be on one of our teams at some point. 6'3", Brendan Rice. He's, kind of raw, but good. He's got some redeemable ratings. We'll go for one more wide receiver. Just trying to fill out the roster as much as possible. I think Tyquan Thornton probably makes the most sense as far as wide receiver goes. Kind of want someone a little shorter, though, actually. Maybe we go Darius Davis. He's 23 years old. I mean, the problem is there's too many options. Even though I wanted someone a little bit shorter, I think Tyquan Thornton, who I just saw there anyways, is going to be the guy. He's 96 speed. I know he's 24, but what can you do? He's 96 speed. Gotta grab him. Then I will say backup edge, which we do have one of at least. Probably will be a little bit tougher to get. Let's see if we got anybody here. Hell, even though he's old, take Chandler Jones. Why not? I mean, most of the time you're going for backup edge rushers. You're not going to get guys that you're going to keep long-term anyways because, the contracts are different now where, you do get those one-year guys that, even if they're in the first round, sometimes you have to pay your guy right away. We might even have to pay Micah Parsons right away. But also it just helps you get your guys developing when you have these older players because obviously they're likely going to have the mentor tag. I'm almost certain Jerry Hughes has it. Think Chandler Jones has it. I'm not 100% sure, but that's really what you want to do in these rounds. I normally used to go like all youth, but that's not the smart thing to do. The smart thing to do now would be to get guys that have mentor tag or you think they have mentor tag. As far as like some of these other backups, maybe you want one more younger like player, so JT Woods wouldn't be the worst name to get. Super fast. Safety. And then just go mentors. Get your kicker, your punter, your fullback, and then the rest mentor-type players, I think, personally. But the real question is, who is the GOAT for kickers this year? Was it Aubrey? He's kind of on the older side, though, isn't he? Yeah, 29. Who is the guy? Is it still going to be Daniel Carlson? Jake Bates. I think it might be Cade York, actually. Who's Jake Bates? 25. Definitely use him. I think it's Cade York. Let's go kick power. Is it? It's got to be Cade York. Abilities are cool and all, but go for a high kick power, low age player, and you got them for another like 12, 15 years. Let's get a punter now. I don't know who the best is at this either. I've been kind of falling apart with these positions. It might be Stonehouse. It kind of used to be AJ Cole. Ariza, is he problematic? I don't know. You make the decision. I think Stonehouse. He's actually only 25. Stonehouse is by far the best punter. Abilities don't matter on kickers too much. Usually it's all like under 50-yard type of things anyways. And I already see Camryon Richardson. Fast corner. Why not? Bring him out of the Raiders. Very fitting. And I didn't go for the backup like speedy linebackers like I normally would, but you still have options even this late. Jamal Hill, super athletic. I think I've seen D. Winters. He's very athletic too. We have our DT backups. We have sort of an edge backup situation going on. It's not bad. What about DT? We could go like, is Linval? I can't remember if he was like I think he's a mentor. He's got to be. He's 35 years old. What is he going to do? But yeah, D. Winters, another guy, 23 years old. He's low overall, but you got athleticism. And that's pretty much it. Just go athleticism and you'll be a happy person. And that would sit in the draft. They're probably going to draft me a bunch of players I don't want or need, but because we maybe didn't take an actual right guard or we didn't take an actual this left out or right out, whatever, they're going to be like, oh, we got to fill those positions. But yeah, we obviously got all the players we ever wanted. We're chilling. We're fine. Of course, with any how to draft the perfect fantasy draft team video, we have to sim the season. Went a little bit harder on the offensive line than I have in previous really years, honestly, let alone drafts. But I really do like having like a solid offensive line. Don't really need to draft anyone new. We have a great left tackle, a solid right tackle, an amazing right guard, a super amazing left guard, and a really solid center. I will say the one thing I don't like about this team is that we have too good of a tight end. I mean, even Brock Bowers is probably too good, to be fair, but I do like developing a guy like, I always bring him up, but like a Luke Musgrave, just simply because, they're not that hard to develop because they're fast, but it's kind of fun to throw to somebody you need to develop. We still have that with the wide receivers, supposedly, with wide receiver 2 and 3, and even technically Marvin Harrison, but since he's an X factor, obviously, he's going to be developing very quickly. Went with Drake May, obviously. We didn't want to go with Caleb Williams or anyone higher because X Factor, you're basically guaranteed to be a god. Even Bijan Robinson, obviously, at Superstar, he's really not that hard to develop either. Defensively, you have really good user, fast linebackers, which, my favorite position of user, so that's why I go with the youth. I like to usually get, like, one good one that I can play AI, because Otherwise, I'm like using 3 guys. It's hard to decide who I want to main. Safeties, Bullard, Bishop, and Hicks are a great trio. Obviously, Arnold's already a superstar at corner. DJ Turner's super speedy at number 3 is already star. And then Woolen, you'd need to be forcing those devs, get some breakouts and, you know, some picks, and you're cooking. Obviously, DT and right end are amazing. DT2, he needs some time, but you have Darius Robinson and, you know, Davis has still got potential. And so does Miles Murphy, who's obviously very, very athletic with decent power move, okay block shed. He can definitely get the job done. This is, you know, I'm trying to think back of like what kind of positions we could have went with differently. I like this. I don't know. This is damn near perfect to me. Like I said, maybe went too good with a tight end and potentially too good with a running back. Could have probably went like Jalen Wright instead at running back, a little bit more developable. But I mean, we're happy with what we got. You could always go like Trey Benson, trade off Bijan if you really wanted to, but. Yeah, I really like this team. I think this team turned out really well. Not over the best sim games, but Marvin Harrison's already revealed. A lot of these players are revealed. Actually, pretty damn generous to get like Marvin Harrison and Drake May contracts now, because obviously we're going to go 7-year deals for these guys. So, you know, 7-year 73.5 is amazing. That's cheap as hell for us. Then you have Marvin. You do a 7-year deal as well, 77 million. Okay, maybe we do have to do 80, whatever. Bullard. I mean, basically, anyone we actually drafted in the first 20 rounds, we're going to be trying to keep because, you know, they're pretty good players. Cole Bishop, we could probably, you know, even use Hicks, but 7-year, 17.5. I mean, these contracts are busted. Like, it's just insane. Is there anyone else that needs a contract? Sadly, no. The special teamers, but obviously those guys are almost always going to get paid. But yeah, as far as like a Ryan Stonehouse goes, you could probably go 7 years for him as well. 7-year, 28. It's good money. We have 107 mil. And we barely have to bump anything, and we just re-signed a lot of our players. Cade York, you know, because of the youth, you try to keep him on. 7 years, 24. Nice. I mean, we got a lot. Like, we just re-signed like a fifth, a sixth of our players, and we still have a lot of money left. And I'm not really sure what the other teams are looking like, but if we win, we're actually in the playoffs. I'm not sure if we're going to make it. If we lose, we're definitely out of them, though, which we... do lose, unfortunately. But we went 8-9 with the lowest overall team in the league. We ended up becoming an 84 overall after the first season. We'll take, of course, once again, really tough division. Even if it's fantasy draft, you're going to have those schemes to deal with, specifically the Chiefs. But really nice second half of the season. But obviously, when you're actually playing, you can dictate those games a little bit more. Let's take a look at the stats and awards and see, you know, where this team ranked. Okay, so this scheme did not do Drake May well. He did not look very good. Bijan was great. Adonai Mitchell did well, and obviously Harrison did as well. Looking at the blocking, it could have been worse. We've seen really good offensive linemen give up a lot of sacks. Latham was great. Pass rush, Quentin Williams was amazing. Parsons, obviously amazing. 6 for Murphy, which is okay. The rest, not so great. Picks on the lower end. York was amazing. Missed 3 out of 29 kicks, and one of those was blocked. Stonehouse was pretty good. Kick return, punt return game, you know. It is what it is. I don't know why I even look at those ever at all. Award wins. Lamar Jackson wins MVP. Been seeing him win a lot of, you know, MVPs. Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, number 2, which kind of sucks. Offensive Rookie of the Year, number 3 for Marvin Harrison. Defensive Rookie of the Year, surprisingly not Peyton Wilson with all those sacks or tackles. Any actual, like, award wins? And no, unfortunately, we did not win any. Let's take a look at that team once the season is over here. I want to sim to the actual end. I don't really care about the storylines. I said I was going to look at all that and get upgrades and whatnot. Nah, I don't care. I don't care. But we are an 84 overall team after year 1 with 100 sliders on, and that's obviously without playing games, playing practices, training camp, all that stuff. Take a look what the actual team looks like after this. And once again, it was not a good season, especially for the quarterback. It was really bad. Who won? It was the Falcons that won the Super Bowl. Take a look at the rating, see what kind of upgrades we have. So Drake May, after a really bad season, went up, was it 5 overalls? Like, he played horrendously, and he went up 5 overalls. So obviously, if you're playing the games themselves, you're going to go up a lot higher than 5 overalls, and he's already, like, really good, obviously. Then we look at running back Bijan. He went from, was an 82 to an 87. Marvin went up from a 79 to an 84. Mitchell went up from 72 to a 76. Pitts really didn't go up that much. O-line went up quite a bit, especially the right guard. Then we look at the defensive side of the ball, where Miles Murphy is a 75. Arnold's an 80. Both the safeties are 77. Linebackers, I wish it would have went up a little bit higher than that, but Cooper kind of went up. Peyton Wilson was decent. Jordan Davis didn't go up super high. But yeah, obviously, if you're going higher, sliders, you can go up even higher than that. Woolen went up to an 87, which I'm a little surprised by because obviously only normal dev. But this is, I mean, honestly, the perfect definition of a definition of how to draft a perfect fantasy draft team. Like I said, the only thing I could have and probably would have done differently is maybe Pitts is too good, like I said. But outside of that, I like it because I don't really like to worry about the O-line, and the team actually is pretty damn good at that position. I think you could safely say we don't have to worry about the O-line. Quarterback needs some time. Wide receiver 1 and 2 even need some time. Running back set. Tight end's obviously set with the athleticism. Left end, you might need a new guy, but looks okay. DTs, I think, are fine, but maybe you need a new DT too. Linebackers, you got the most athletic guys in the league. Like, I'm really trying to look back, other than, like, taking players slightly earlier than when they were supposed to go, like maybe a round early just because we wanted to play it safe and land all the players we wanted. I don't think we could have done anything really different that would have been better. Maybe one more linebacker, and instead of Jordan Davis, because he's a nose tackle type, we go for a different DT, which we could have, you know, easily started Darius Robinson. He's obviously really good, super sleeper. But yeah, that is going to be it for version 1 of this. I really like this team. Obviously, you had a bunch of different choices at quarterback, running back. We just made the choices we did, right? We could have also done something differently and gotten Brock Bowers. I'm not even sure what we ended up going with that next pick. But yeah, this is a really good team. I think if I do this next time, obviously we'd have to wait for the rosters to change a little bit. I don't know if I would change much, though. Like, there's not a position we didn't hit with a star or better other than Woolen, who, I mean, obviously breaks that mold because he's 6'4" with 97 speed. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory why you would take him as a normal dev who is obviously still pretty damn young. But yeah, maybe instead of Harrison, you go Olave, but at the same time, I don't know if Olave is an X factor. Like, I mean, he's so good already. I'm going to take a look and see if Olave went up in dev. See what overall he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was the number 1 guy, but Olave, we did go to Superstar, though. Olave, even though he had a Superstar level season, only went up 1, maybe 2 overalls. And obviously going to Superstar is far from guaranteed, whether you're usering them or simming the season. But yeah, I think we made the right call. We went from 79 to 84. Olave went from 86 to what seems to be 88. Math is telling me that Marvin's going to catch up to his overall after this season, and because he's an X Factor, he's going to obviously exceed him soon enough. But that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this one, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing if you're new. If you're not new, I do appreciate getting support on the channel. Maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel, PK Plays on Madden content. And of course, if you wanted to kind of follow along with the disaster that is the quote-unquote spreadsheet I made, you can do so by clicking the link in the description. It should be in... Is it Imgur or Imgur website? Will show you like an image. You can obviously zoom in on it. It's a disaster, I'll tell you, but I did kind of do all caps for players that I felt like were super gems or can't miss type players. So it's a disaster to look at, but you'll manage. Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Should be a Superstar Mode video a little later today, and then maybe Patriots franchise tomorrow or a rebuild again. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. Maybe I could do a different version as well, most overpowered, because obviously there's going to be some people that are going to look at this team and be like, you drafted an 80 overall, dude. Why are you even making the video? Which obviously, once again, my definition of perfect is something along these lines. I'm going to keep reiterating and just being like a broken record. I would argue quarterback was too good. Tight end was too good. Running back was too good. I don't mind having one really good edge rusher in corner. I think is fine. I think defense is fine. I think there's a lot to develop. Maybe the D-line is still too good. You got Quinnen and Parsons on the same line. But other than quarterback, running back, and tight end being too good in my opinion, because they're basically predisposed to be good, this is my definition of perfection. It really is. Maybe one superstar lineman. Instead of Tyler Smith, maybe you could have went Quentin Nelson, even though he's a little older. Play him at left tackle, put some good blocking abilities on. But this is my definition of perfect. But like I said, maybe I could do one where I do the most overpowered team, where I take literally Mahomes at 1, and then from there, we draft the best team possible from there. So if you guys want to see that, let me know by leaving a like. Maybe when this video hits 300 likes, we'll do that. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!